Good day, adventurers! Today we're going to be looking at the program Tinkercad. Tinkercad is a 3D modeling program that I have been using in my classes to teach everyone about 3D modeling. I've also been using the program for our 3D printer. I'm going to be breaking up today's videos into two parts. The first part is going to be the very basics on how to move the shapes over and to create a 3D model. The second video will go over more tips and tricks on how to make some changes, as well as different content that Tinkercad can provide. First up, you are going to need to get your own account. You can sign up for a class account by following the directions that are provided with this video. Once you have sent me an email with your child's username that they want, I will go ahead and set up a class account, and they will just go to that link, enter in their username, and it will get them into a class. Once they have signed up and they have their own account, they're going to be brought to this page. This is called their dashboard. If it's their first time, this will be completely blank as they haven't started any models. So to create a new design, you're just going to click on this button right here. And this will bring you to your work plane. The work plane is where you'll be setting all of your shapes and works as a base for your design. Up here is how you can change the name of your model. So for today, I'm going to name mine Adventure Club Test. To start modeling, we're going to look over here on this side. This is where all the basic shapes are that we can use. And all you do is left click on your mouse to drag it over. And it drops it on the work plane. Over here, it gives you the options of using slide rule to change the shape. So on radius, it's going to start making it more rounded. So I can go from a square to a sphere or something in between. Steps means how smooth it's going to be. And since it's already a square, it's pretty smooth. But if I was to remove some steps, it still will look smooth. But if I were to change the radius, as you can see, I've got now a diamond. So if I'm halfway in between and I start adding in the steps, you'll start seeing it change shape. I can change the length, and this is all done in millimeters, width, height. Now this can give you some pretty precise changes, but it's not hard to accidentally go too high or not get the image you're really looking for. So the other options, if we look onto the shape itself, you'll see white squares, a black triangle, and double-sided arrows. And I'll go over what each one does. If you click on the black square on this side, you'll see in millimeters this length. So if I was to change that by either left clicking and holding it down, or just typing in, it will move the shape itself. Now if you want to move both sides, height, length, width, all that at the same time, you can just grab onto one of the white corners and it will let you change the length and the width at the same time. To change the height, on top, the white square will let you move it up and down. But if you're wanting to, let's say, change it on the bottom, if you just rotate by holding the right mouse key, it'll let you change the plane, and then you can change it that way. The arrow up lets you slide it up and down without changing the shape, and right here shows you the distance from the work plane and it floating. And of course, if you're having problems just sliding it and you know you exactly want it to sit on the work plane, you can always just type in 0. And same with if you need it to lower it down from underneath, just look at the bottom and the arrow will appear. Now, the double arrows right here just lets you rotate it. If your mouse cursor is more to the inside of the circle, it will change it by 22.5 degrees. If you want something more precise of an angle, just move on the outside of the circle and it'll let you change it one at a time. And like always, you can always click on it and enter in the exact amount that you want. Alright, the next thing is solid and whole. So over on here, the next thing you want to look at is solid and whole. Solid shape makes it solid, as it is now. It's its own shape. Whole changes it transparent and means that there's nothing actually there. It's just holding the shape that we have. But if I was to put it with something else, you see that it's darkening. If I was to group these together like this, hold down your left click, drag it over, both of these become highlighted, and I hit the group button, you can see that the whole has removed the highlighted part. And now I have this shape. That is grouping. Grouping allows you to create new shapes. And if I was to move this, both move together. Now if I don't attempt to group it, if I grab onto one of the blocks, only that block will move. Scribble is a program where you can hand draw out the shape that you're looking for. And there is my drawn out puppy. And I hit done, and now I have my shape. And if I want to sit up, there we go. Now, the other things you can do over here is click on basic shapes, and it will bring up a list of areas that you can go to that have already been pre-designed by either Tinkercad or the community. So if I click on text and numbers, of course I'm going to get letters, shapes, symbols, and numbers. On the text, if you drag it on, it will let you make whichever word you want. And there you go. Here, you can go change the height. Bevel will squish it, make it more smoothed out. As you can see. And then segments, of course, smooths it. Now if I was to bevel it with it being smoothed, you can see that makes it more rounded, and the sides have been smoothed up. So that was the basics on how to use Tinkercad. And as you will notice up here, since there is no save button, every time you move something, it'll say all changes have been saved. So every time you do something, it will change. Now, if you do something you didn't want to do, so let's say I move this here, and this is sitting right here and I don't notice it, and I accidentally highlight it, and then hit the group, you'll notice now that the puppy's dog's tails has been removed. If I didn't want that, I could just hit this button right here to bring it back. And if I click on something and hit the trash can, it will delete it. If I click on the puppy here or anything else and hit duplicate, it will create another one of these puppies, but it'll be right on top of each other. So I just drag it off and now I have two. And those are the basics of Tinkercad. In the next video, I will show you a little bit more tips and tricks on other things that you can do. And I hope you guys give it a watch. Until then, have a wonderful day.